Good morning. My name is Nora Skiba. It's a real honor for me to have been asked to speak today. I thought a lot about what I wanted to say. So much has happened in the world around us since last year's high holidays, particularly in Israel and for Jews in the United States. Excuse me. I believe it's very important for all of us to continue to stand together in solidarity, to show a united front against anti-Semitism and support for Israel and our Jewish faith. Excuse me. Yet, how do we do this? This is the question we ask ourselves with the turn of each news cycle. Several speakers last week, including our rabbi, our president Jason Meltzer, and Tali Goldwasser, talked about the need to promote Jewish values in our homes, to come together in our synagogues welcoming arms, and to stand firm in our convictions in our communities and on college campuses as effective responses to the rise of anti-Semitism in the United States. I would like to suggest one other avenue as well, namely by participating and being involved in HERJIC as a way to express our resolve for positive action to maintain our Jewish identities. And with that in mind, I'd like to tell you a little bit about my personal HERJIC journey and my own connection to Judaism. When my husband Jack and I got married in 2015, and I retired from my career in 2017, I gave up my apartment and my life in New York City, and I moved to a place that Jack called home on Heather Lane in Hewlett. His family became my family. His close friends became my close friends. I was welcomed into a circle of warmth and caring that made my transition to the 5 towns easier than I ever would have anticipated. Jack had been a member of HERJIC for over 30 years before we got married, including, and many of you may not know this, when his late wife, Fern, had been president. So we remained members at HERJIC. The HERJIC members that I met had often been members for 20 years, 25 years, and some even 40 years. And they had forged their own path at HERJIC as leaders and as volunteers. They spoke of their years at HERJIC as a source of pride, representing their personal connections to conservative egalitarian values. I prayed in the sanctuary on high holidays with Jack by my side and joined him in offering our financial support to the synagogue, content to remain in the warmth that Jack and his friends provided me at HERJIC. Belonging to HERJIC because of my spouse was very different than my husband and I choosing our own synagogue for our future. I often introduce myself to people as, hi, I'm Nora. I'm Jack Skiba's wife, and Jack's been a member of HERJIC for over 30 years. I was really very fortunate to have friends like the Golds, the Millers, the Friedmans, the Doctors, the Kislicks, the Cohens, the Sheerans, the Mullises, and many others who made me feel welcome and comfortable right away at HERJIC. In November of 2020, Rabbi Warmflash announced his retirement. To my surprise, Stephen Mollis asked me to serve with him on the Rabbi Search Committee. After having spent more than 3 decades of service in the Congress, the federal government, and a global financial institution, I really didn't relish the notion of poring over resumes and interviewing candidates. And I suppose I could have just said no to Stephen. But you all know that Stephen's really persistent. And I guess I thought maybe I could add some value. But over the next 6 months, I engaged with many fellow congregants, intelligent, accomplished people who were acutely aware of what a new rabbi could mean to our community. The difficulty caused by the fact that we met, discussed, and addressed our task isolated in the middle of a COVID pandemic cannot be overstated. Yet my experience on the committee was rewarding in so many ways. I laughed more than I expected, and I met many, many new friends, Lisa Cohen for one. And to my great joy, the search committee led to Herjic hiring Rabbi Michelle Schlesinger. Since my initial foray as a Herjic volunteer, I've engaged on various other levels at our synagogue. I worked with Stephen Creit to assist the rabbi and his family with their visa and immigration needs. I also served on the search committee that hired Lisa Stein. Jack and I hosted the preliminary discussions with other donors to kick off Herjic's endowment efforts. I became a member of Herjic's board of directors, and I chaired the nominating committee that added talented and energetic new board members. And finally, I became involved with our new president, Jason Meltzer, in many strategic initiatives intended to further solidify Herjic's role in our community and to attract a larger circle of potential members. And there I've met other new members of Herjic, and I'd point out Shoshana, who's sitting right up front. Throughout our efforts, I've taken note of two very important things. First, what is consistently true about the Herjic members with whom I serve is their common devotion to the synagogue's short-term and long-term welfare. As a group, we care about sustaining the future of conservative egalitarian Judaism on the South Shore of Long Island. The members I have worked with come from very different backgrounds than I do. They come from different religious vantage points, and they bring with them unique experiences that cast, along with my own, into a shared pool to reach the goals and tasks set before us. That's the nature of collaboration that Herjic's members excel at. And frankly, that's why I believe that Herjic has avoided the fate of so many other conservative synagogues on Long Island. We really wrestle with our fate together rather than relying on a very small group of people to determine our future. The second thing that I've noticed is something I really didn't expect at all. Namely, I am now more connected to Herjic than ever before. Jack and I like to attend the monthly Kabbalat Shabbat dinners that are the hallmark of the synagogue's newfound spirit. Last year, we sponsored the communal Seder that brought over 175 members and their families to the synagogue on the second night of Pesach. And frankly, I'm very grateful that I can look out on this large group of people and know that I've become friends with or on a first name basis with so many of you sitting here today. In fact, Jack and I joke that I actually know more people than he does. And so, what was once Jack's shul is now also mine. What was once Jack's emotional connection to Judaism is now also mine. I am vested in Herjic's long-term future, even though, frankly, our kids and grandkids live and pray elsewhere. I still stand beside Jack on the high holidays to pray, but I do so in my own voice that is in perfect harmony with his. Many of you sitting here today share my experience. You're either the sons or daughters of past members, or you're the husbands or wives of current members. You lead busy lives, and they're fulfilling. And you may not see yourself able to devote any more time to a new interest. You find it easier, frankly, to stand back rather than to participate. I stand before you today, certainly not as some paragon of virtue. I'm certainly not that. But I am an example of what can unexpectedly be attained when you just say yes to a request to serve. Frankly, at a time when so much has transpired that we really feel unable to influence the shifting ground beneath us, I take personal comfort in joining with fellow Herjic members to shape the small corner of Judaism in which we reside, this small corner of Judaism. And in doing so, perhaps Herjik joins other congregations to help strengthen the fabric of Jewish identity throughout the world. So I'm proud to say that my name is Nora Skiba. I've been a member at Herjik for 9 years. Shana Tova.